Hare Krishna. Manya, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
You have the ability to share a link if you have such. It wouldn't be relevant if it's only a downloaded file to that kirtan, to the chat group, or is that something that there's not a link to?
Oh yeah, I can. I was just about to. This is such a wonderful kirtan by Radhika Das, and I found it on YouTube. So
Very nice. Yeah, if you would share, I'd be grateful.
yeah,
Alrighty.
yeah.
Sweet. Alrighty. Let's see. Okay. It is 9:03 p.m., 7:03. Can everybody, let's do a mic check real quick.
Yeah, we
Mr.
can.
Gupta, can you hear me? Can you hear me and can I hear you? Testing one, two, three. Testing four, five, six. All right, Mr. Gupta will get back to you. Mr. or Mrs. Work USD. I'm not sure that means that you work for the US dollar. If that means if it's a playoff of work. Okay, I got a
No,
camera now.
I'm gonna shut it off. So no, it's work. It's Worku. It's Worku. It's my whole name. Worku Sinademisi. I just short.
All right.
I just short it.
What's your first name again, sir?
Worku.
Worku? It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Sri Arjuna. All righty. So
Yeah.
mic test is successful on that end. Excellent.
Nice meeting you. Thank you for your service too. I was a
Oh,
corpsman.
hey,
So
don't thank me yet. I mean, you have plenty of time to criticize our whole thoughts afterwards. I appreciate the
Uh,
manners. I'm inspired to be a gentleman by you. Holy smokes.
all right.
No
All
pressure.
right. All right.
And Mr. Lint, can you hear me, sir? Or is it? It's that chocolate thing. I know you try to help us with the chocolate, but I was like, is it Lint or is it Lindbergh? It's like so close and yet so far.
Lindbergh is I don't know, I'm sure related, the Swedish American aviator. Lind with a T on the end is the Swiss chocolate.
Okay, so he's the copycat. You're the original, and you're Lindbergh. Okay, watch me try to remember this with the best of effort. It's going to stick eventually. Lindbergh, alrighty. Yeah, I just think chocolate, and I think if you're smiling, I'm like, gosh darn it, anyways, I'll get it. I just think of the chocolate now. And let's see. Mr. Kavala Bhakti.
I cannot hear you all of a sudden.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Fantastic. And Mr. Ayan Gupta, can I hear you? Can you hear me?
Hello, yes.
Sweet. Alrighty. I love it. Very few there are some things that suck more, but very few things suck as much as getting involved in a very thorough conversation and getting halfway through it and then realizing you start talking about all this stuff. You're like, oh snap, the camera or the mic doesn't work. That's a Alrighty, so I'm grateful for the opportunity to try and learn some stuff here. And I don't say this to be humble, by the way. Actually, I realized this thing. We'll actually talk about this today during today's course because it's relevant for the topic. There's something called near and far enemies of.
Arjuna, if you don't mind, could
What?
I introduce you for a quick minute to
I
the
beg your pardon. I'm taking all the opportunity for you to be the host. Yes, ma'am. Of course, you may do so.
No, no, not at all. I just realized we had some new folks on the call, so
Sure.
very grateful to have everyone here on Wisdom Wednesdays. Sri Arjuna has been with us before, and I'm very happy that he's back with us today. I'll let Sri Arjuna introduce the topic for today, but just wanted to give a quick introduction. So a fun fact, Sri Arjuna was a former U.S. Marine. So that is going to be a helpful background. And he's also a career guidance mentor, and he helps people align their work with their natural strengths. He also gave a session with Wisdom Wednesdays called Career Dharma. So kind of aligning your work with what you're naturally good at. And he uses those lived experiences in service and bhakti yoga to help and share his knowledge and connect with people. So very grateful to have you here, Shri Arjuna, and
Thank you, Mike.
I'm sorry for taking your stage really quick, but back to you.
No, thank you. You're showing us very nice etiquette, actually.
Go
No,
ahead.
I heard this thing once when I was younger. I really appreciate it. It's not enough to not mean to be rude. We have to try to be polite. And how this, applies to relationships, for instance. So I may not mean to take my wife for granted or my friends for granted. I'm using my wife for example because she's my best friend. We have most interactions together, so it comes to mind. But if I'm not actively trying to think about how I can appreciate her, then I'll probably end up taking her for granted because I'm gonna go, she's so sweet to me. She tolerates it for so many years and finally getting better at it. Come back after a long day. She has her long day. She doesn't do this, but I come back to a long day and I leave my socks on the floor. I didn't mean to be rude and take her for granted, but by not trying to proactively be polite and think about the long-term consequences down the road and pick my socks up off the floor, she might feel taken for granted or hurt. So I have to proactively do that. So any sort of proactive activity in terms of etiquette, very nice. I appreciate that. It inspires all of us to remember, oh yeah, there's this thing called etiquette. We don't all just, one day become born we're ladies and gentlemen. We have to try to become ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for that. In regards to Worku, I really appreciate your saying thank you up front. But I was gonna say, I encourage all of you, do give yourselves the room to have any. We may not have time for it today because we're all trying to be conscientious of time and impart a lot in a short amount of time. But if at the end of this you think, man, that either was not a very relevant. Oh man, you're the most important dude around. Amen. God bless you, brother. Motivational. Okay, good stuff. It's funny. Side note, and this is most of the work of the rest of. I beg your pardon, everybody else. Most of what I say might be irrelevant. Will be relevant to everybody, but this might seem like Key and I are talking in our own different language here. So there is this. I was reading somewhere. This guy was on the side of the road, and he saw this guy with this sign saying, "Prior servicemen, can I please, get a buck out of work?" And this guy's like, are you really a prior service member? Most folks are like, they see the camo, just a couple things. They don't understand the lingo. So he goes up to the guy and he goes, what was your unit? The guy just like says his unit number. He goes, okay. What was the most important guy in your unit? Without missing a beat, he goes, the corpsman. He goes, okay, you're legit. So, good stuff, brother. Good stuff. If there's anything that I say today that isn't relevant for anyone, or that you think that could have been better prepared, definitely could have. That's always. Please give yourself the room to think that, and it doesn't have to be like a negative thought, like you're beating yourself up, like, oh my, am I thinking of him in a negative way? No, realistically, you can go, man, he might have bombed that. That's okay, and I say that because oftentimes I see that in Krishna consciousness, very similar in many theologies, actually, we have this idea of humility. I was getting into before, and we'll talk about this more before we really get into the milk and potatoes. And it's so unfortunate we have that term meat and potatoes as like the default thing, like milk and potatoes, milk and potatoes. I'm from Idaho where we have potatoes with everything, and I'm a sucker for milk. So before we get into the milk and potatoes of this, there's something called near enemies and far enemies of qualities that we want to get. Now, you may have heard the saying, I keep my friends close, but I keep my enemies closer. It originates from the thing that, okay, if we've got someone who dislikes us, but we can keep an eye on them, that's better off. That might help to remember what the near enemies and far enemies are. The far enemies of a quality we want are actually not as dangerous as the near enemies. And I'll explain. So for instance, if I want to acquire genuine humility, the far enemy, the enemy that is, we call it the far enemy because the furthest away from humility is, might say, arrogance. It's like, there's so many words, like you can say pompous, pride, arrogance, that mood of pride that I know everything, I have nothing left to learn. That is the far enemy of humility. It's nothing to do with humility. But there is a near enemy of humility. And this is actually the most dangerous enemy of humility. I don't mind, freaking tiger charging at me from 50 meters. I'm just going to have a good time. Either I'm going to shoot it and kill it and have ultimate bragging rights, or I'm going to die epically. And people are going to be telling me, like, that story 100 years, like, did you know that guy who tried to kill a tiger with like, whatever. Right? Hey, I know everybody's got their own personality. This is my personality. I don't mind that. I have a good time with that. My son actually asked me recently, my son Nursinga, he was doing a book and he goes, Daddy, what would you feel if a giant elephant charged you? And I said, I feel excited because either I'm going to have an awesome battle and I'm going to, assuming the elephant's like, an angry mad elephant, I'm going to kill it, or it's going to kill me and that's going to be epic. I'm like, hey, Christian, that was a heck of a life. I got to die epically protecting people. And it was so funny. His little 6-year-old face. He sighs, he goes, Daddy, when you were a kid, how would you have felt if an elephant tried to charge you? I'm like, okay, I would have felt scared. He's like, okay, valid. Thank you, Daddy. I say that why? The elephant, the far enemy, I'm not so concerned. But a snake in the grass that's near my ankle, I'm concerned about. So what is the near enemy of humility? The near enemy of humility is I've experienced this. I'm preaching to myself here. And that comes, and I appreciate, Roku, that you brought this up because it's given me the opportunity to talk to myself, preach to myself, which is why I appreciate doing this. Manya is very kind. She invites me for this. And what these ultimately end up being is I'm talking aloud things I'm preaching to myself for, and sometimes it's useful for people to hear. The near enemy for humility is obsequiousness. Now, what does this look like? Because humility is something that ideally, I think, was C.S. Lewis, and I beg pardon from attributing it to the wrong gentleman. He said, humility is not thinking less of ourselves, it's thinking of ourselves less. Oftentimes, the near enemy of humility comes in the form of like, oh, I'm such a terrible person, or, oh, like, I was telling this one young man who's at the temple recently, about 13 years old, we have a boys group. I walk by him, I tap him on the shoulder because he's one of the boys in this boys group we have. Like, are you going to say anything to me? I'm waiting for him to say, good afternoon, teach this young man some manners. He goes, oh, and he hunches his shoulders and he goes, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. There was a group of 4 or 5 other teenage boys around him. And I rolled my eyes. I go, okay, well, now all you show me now is you're a coward. And he looked freaked out. I said, look, you can have manners and have a spine. So straighten up your back and now say, hey, Hare Krishna. Good to go. Hope you feel better soon. And what I was teaching myself and trying to show these boys is that oftentimes we think that humility means being obsequious or going, if we see something wrong, we're like, I'm not going to say something wrong because that wouldn't be humility. No, if I do something wrong, and you don't have time to call me out for it today, you can definitely think in your head like, man, that wasn't on point. So, no need to have the near enemy of humility, which is obsequiousness. Don't be obsequious with me. You can punch me in the nose and we're good to go. Or give me chocolate, Mr. Lindbergh. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and dive into what we have today, which is creating a healthy relationship with the Hare Krishna mantra. I'm going to say that again because it's kind of a mouthful, a lot of words there. Creating a healthy relationship with the Hare Krishna mantra. Now, before we start, a brief exercise, if we will, for like 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, if that. You can write this down with a pencil and paper or on your notebook. I want you to think of what healthy means to you. And I'd like to hear from anyone who's willing to share, to go around what healthy means to you. Because sometimes we have words that have their literal meaning. This is called the denotative definition of a word, the literal meaning of it. And we have words that have their understood meaning. This is called a connotative definition. So for instance, the connotative definition of religion might be, getting together with people to worship God. Okay, that works. It's not inaccurate. It has a denotative definition. Religion comes from 2 Latin words, religio. It literally means verbatim, again, space, ligio, to connect, to reconnect. We don't often think of this literal definition, but religion, word for word, full stop, we can look historically at the roots of the words. It means to reconnect. We understand connotatively to reconnect with God. So before we go into this, to make sure we're on the same page, think about what does healthy mean to you. Maybe you'll be spot on. I'm not going to tell you when you're wrong. And I think I had someone do this exercise with me about something else one time, and they said I was wrong because I'm a very fiery person. It ticked me off. didn't pay attention to the rest of the class. Lord love them. But we'll at least figure out where everyone's at, and we'll get ourselves on par before we go further. So let's go ahead and start off with, I'm going to randomly pick someone here. I'm going to pick someone who I have not had the opportunity to do a mic check with. Kirti, if you can hear me and if your mic is working, could you tell us what healthy means to you, or what you think of perhaps when you think of the word healthy?
Something positive.
Okay, that works.
Like there are
All
some
right.
words that have a negative connotation to them, like anger, guilt, sad.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, something positive.
Okay, something positive. All righty. Dana, if your microphone is working, would you be willing to share with us what you think of when you think of healthy? If your microphone is working, if your microphone's not working, if you're driving, no worries.
When I think of health,
Healthy. If something is
healthy.
healthy. It's very broad, I know. Just try to get
I
some feel
know.
where we're at here. If there's no wrong answers, like what aspect of healthy you think of, that makes it easier for you. What do you think of when you think of health?
I think of certain adjectives like nourishing, nurturing,
Okay.
balancing.
Balancing, I like that. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Worky,
Sorry,
would
I
you be
was
willing to share with us what you think of for the word healthy?
Sure thing. Harmony.
Harmony. Okay. Dynamite. Freaking love it. So we've got positivity, we've got nourishing, harmony, balance. Niharika, would you be willing to share with us your thoughts on the word healthy?
I would say real in a way that feels good.
Real in a way that feels good. Reality, tangible. Okay, I like that. Mr. Gupta, I saw you were in favor of balance. Would you say that's it for you, or is there anything else that comes to mind that you'd like to say when you think of healthy?
I feel like healthy in general means balance to me, whether that's a balanced load, a balanced diet, a balanced mental vision, or a balanced occupation. So I think
I
for
like how
me,
you describe those
balance.
scenarios.
Yes.
Balance. All right. All righty. Kevala Bhakti.
All right. So am I referring to health in general or specifically in this instance of health relating to the Mahamantra?
It can be either or. This is broad, and I want you to know I'm not trying to do a aha moment on anybody by getting them to say something and make myself like some wise dude by going, no, y'all were wrong. But by the way, this is totally innocent, just trying to get our brains working as we go into this. So when you think of healthy, what comes to mind for you, Park?
I'm going to keep it to just health. I'm going to be Mr. Autistic, ultra literal man right now.
I'm cool with that.
When I think of health, I think of specifically lacking any disease or disorder.
Lacking disorder and disease. I like that. Okay. I like that a lot. Thank you for sharing. Mr. Lindbergh, sir, if you would share with us.
I'd have to say strength.
Strength.
Strength, not just physical strength, but strength of body to resist disease, illness, as well as mental and spiritual.
Okay. Strength to resist disease. I like that. Manya, your turn.
Wow, everyone covered most things, but I wrote down something that is beneficial for me, a practice that's beneficial. And then also healthy means like healthy in different aspects of life, like people were saying. So spiritual, mental, in different areas, and also something that I enjoy doing.
Something you enjoy. I like that. Something you enjoy doing. I like that a lot. Before taking a note from earlier, trying to make a point, it's not enough to not mean to be rude and proactive, want to be polite. For all of you who are here with me, we're all on the same page, joined together using technology. And technology means that I can see who's here by hitting the arrow button, but it's a bit less personal, is what it is, than if we were all in the same room together. If we were all in the same room together, no one would get left out. I go, okay, you look at me, we'd all see each other. On this list here, I am a bit concerned that I might be forgetting anybody or not seeing anyone. Is there anyone here who, due to my own technological failure, I've not asked you for your input, in which case I'd be very grateful if you would relieve me of my oversight by unmuting yourself and sharing with us your thoughts. Going once, twice, thrice. Cool. I didn't screw up, at least this time. Jai. I'm always going to happen. We mess up so much in life. So when we see that sometimes Krishna lets us off the hook, that, he's like, okay, man, you're trying hard enough, so we'll let you off the hook. It's like, thank you, Krishna. Alrighty, so I really like the points we got here on healthy. And there's a reason I'll start to go into this while we're looking at this now, which is when we think of the words in this sentence, creating a healthy relationship with the Hare Krishna mantra, it kind of be triggering. And here's why. Because it can almost by its spill words, think it is, like what's implied, imply the possibility someone goes, are you saying that you can have an unhealthy relationship with the Hare Krishna mantra? And the next words after that come is, are you implying that the Hare Krishna mantra can be unhealthy? And then off we go down that slippery slope, like, no, let's not do it. Like, no, Sri Arjuna, I know you said this, and it's off with your head. Heresy. It's like, oh man, shucks. Well, I put my foot in my mouth that time, so we're trying to find what the word healthy means. We can all be on the same page here for everyone's benefit, so I don't get burnt at the stake. And also we can find something useful in this. I liked what Manya ended up off with, and you all built the cake together, and she put the chair on top, and team effort. Because what she said is basically summarizing what everyone said. So that's enjoyable and positive. We had positive. We had balance, huge. We had lack of any disease. I like that one. We had strength. We had all these things. When something is enjoyable, we keep on doing it. There's a saying, I've laughed at times with my wife, how this is often a saying for folks, like, if you ask someone, how does something taste? And they want to be polite, they'll go, it tastes healthy. It's like, well, shucks. I mean, that's great, So glad that, you're not like, feeling toasted by high fructose corn syrup in your body, and that you're getting all the nutrition from the broccoli, and be like, gosh darn it tastes healthy. Like, no one wants to hear that. And likewise, we have these things with diets. And the goal of a diet is to be healthy. And the diet is objectively good, and that it will do good things for a body. But if we approach it in a really intensive way, we don't have a healthy relationship with the diet. The diet's wonderful, but our relationship is not healthy. How is that defined? Well, going at the angle right here, I'm referring to unhealthy. I'm referring to something that's enjoyable, positive, and keyword here, sustainable. Think of a diet someone does for health, and they need to improve their health, and they want to improve their health. They jump into this diet. It's so intense. Say it means like, full stop, no more sugar. Okay, that can be good for you. And depending on the decisions we've made previously in our life at this point, it might be necessary for major reasons with the doctor. However, oftentimes, if we do something really intense like that out of the blue, even if it's good for us, we won't be able to sustain it. And therefore, we have an unhealthy relationship with a healthy diet. And the result can be that we actually don't get to have the benefits of that healthy diet. What can be far more healthy at times is to take a deep breath and go, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to slowly turn down on the sugar. And the way I'm going to do that, the positive, I'm going to eat a lot more fruit. I'm not going to have, cane sugar anymore, but fruit has natural sweetness. I'm not going to deprive myself of this natural positivity, but I'm going to have fruit. And it's interesting, sugar is not good for cancer. Fruits naturally have some sugars in them, but fruits are good for cancer. Fresh fruits are very good, healthy for cancer. So we want to find something that's sustainable and maintainable. So creating a healthy relationship with the Hare Krishna mantra. What are we looking at here when I'm discussing this? I mean, creating a relationship with the Hare Krishna mantra that's sustainable. We enjoy it. We're not just going, okay, man, we got this, motivated. Alarm set for 3:55 a.m. That means even after taking a few minutes to wake up, it's 4 a.m. Now we got our Terminator voice. We're going to knock out these 16 rounds like there's no tomorrow. And then we did like, yeah, I did my 16 rounds. It's like, okay, great. Give that like a month. You're going to be feeling really freaking toasted. Don't ask me how I know why. Hint, hint, I kind of grew up in the Hare Krishna movement. So not saying that at any point there was a 6-year-old Sri Arjuna who was going, I'm chanting 16 rounds today and 20 to tomorrow and this and that, and he got burnt out. Not saying that at all. Just saying, your approach has a lot to do with it. We're looking at the approach because obviously we want the good diet. We're not saying, hey, don't have the diet. What we're saying is how we start that diet is very important. And in this case, it's not just a diet, it's a relationship. We've got these funny things in the English language and in any language where sometimes we have a word that means one thing, but if we take it apart, we can infer other meanings from it. And sometimes just total happenstance. Like we don't know if this is intentional or not with the etymology of the word, how the word came into being, or if it's like literal. Like for instance, in Spanish, the word for puzzle is rompecabezas. First time I learned that, I freaking died laughing. Because I'm a second language, Spanish is a second language to me. So when I learned Spanish, I'm thinking the literal meanings. Native Spanish speakers don't do this much. They just take it. My Spanish professor, she's like, what's so funny? I said, rompecabezas for puzzle. Break that in half. It literally means broken heads. Hey, who wants to play the broken heads game? At some point in time, several hundred years ago, some Spanish speakers were like, yo, this game is giving me such a headache. Its official name is called the broken heads game. So you have these in every language. So in English, you have the word relationship. Notice it's not a relation boat, which is interesting because we can infer something from this here. A boat is a one-person program. You can even have 2 people on it, but it's still very much a one-person program. A boat, you got those oars, you can keep it sustained off of one person. But a ship, even if you have the most experienced captain, a ship is so large, there's so much going on in that ship, it has to be at least a 2-person program. It's got to be this relationship. We're in this together to sustain it. A relation boat, you can go, man, there's someone in this boat with me. Okay. Shut your mouth. Don't like what you're saying. Put a sock in it. When it rows to safety. You can't do that in a relationship. A relationship, there has to be open communication. And both people need to have the honesty to pull their own weight. Now, we can see sometimes a lack of this in relationships that seem really beautiful at first, called codependent relationships. And these relationships can look so beautiful at first because they were talking about near enemies and far enemies. A far enemy of a healthy relationship, you might be able to say is, an abusive relationship, like, beating or something horrible in it. You could say that's nothing like what I want. A near enemy of a starry-eyed loving relationship can be codependency. But this basically looks like, and there's different varieties of codependency. But a general thing would be, okay, we don't have any life for ourselves. We only do what the other person says. We're only gonna do X, Y, Z if they give us permission to, or even if they give us permission to, we won't use our own mind. Our partner might be like, hey, I'm interested in your thoughts. Like, no. Whatever you say goes. And so at the surface level, it might look like, oh, this is starry-eyed. Oh, this is nice. But underneath, there's not that honesty of where are we at? What can we both bring to the table? We have this in our relationships. It's called codependency. And oftentimes we don't want to think about codependency. We don't exactly teach people how to have a great relationship. There's this thing called codependency. Be aware of it. And yet there's a positive to it because if we know what the danger is, we can look out for it. If we only focus on, hey, I want you to walk from our house through the woods to your neighbor's house and be very safe. It's like, okay, that's a positive. But if you tell me to look out for rattlesnakes and it's copperhead season, I know what to look out for. That'll help me be safer. So if I know what codependency is, I can know to be safer by looking out for it. Well, in creating a healthy relationship with the Hare Krishna mantra, on one part, it's very simple. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Spend time with Krishna. This is the simple part of it. Just like Simply speaking, to be healthy means, okay, eat your broccoli and, avoid high fructose corn syrup and this and that, you're good to go. But it's really complex if we don't know what to replace the negatives with to get the positives. So when we look at what we want to get with the positives, it helps to look at what the negatives are. And we're like, oh, wow, there's like a troll under the bed. I wouldn't want to think about it normally, but it helps me know about it because now I know how to avoid it. So what is the, should I say parallel? I won't say equivalent, but like the parallel point of codependency. It's a crude example. Srila Prabhupada, by the way, he gives us the example, a crude example from the purports of the Bhagavad Gita. He says, when discussing spiritual things with material things, often our examples will be crude. And he uses the term crude, and he explains because ultimately a spiritual thing and a material thing can never be completely comparable. So we'll use what he calls a crude example to make some of a click in our mind so we can kind of go, okay, I grasp this. But to preface it by going, it will be a crude example. Because we go too much like, no, that doesn't quite work because it's a bit off. Yes, that's true, because that's the nature of dealing things with material things and spiritual things. But with that prefaced, to give a crude example, the parallel that you want to get a nice relationship in this world with a friend, you want to look out for codependency. Parallel to the sustainable, maintainable relationship with the Hare Krishna mantra. Krishna is his name. It's so wonderful. But, having a relationship with the Hare Krishna mantra is having a relationship with Krishna. We look out for this thing called spiritual bypassing. And if we know what this thing called spiritual bypassing looks like, it's like knowing what a copperhead looks like when you're going through the woods of North Carolina. You know where to look. You don't want to end up with the copperhead. You want to end up at your neighbor's house. But if you know what to look for, you can avoid the copperheads. You get to your neighbor's house. So what is spiritual bypassing? And what is the reason it so often comes in as the near enemy, that enemy that looks like it's so much the close thing of a positive relationship with the Hare Krishna mantra? So let's start with this. Pop quiz here. Kirti, can you hear me?
Yes.
If you break your ankle, what some things you might do? Some approaches you might have. Give us the elevator spiel. You don't got it. Like if you're a doctor, I never know. One of these days I'm going to ask a doctor, maybe it's you, and the doctor could give, well, I get this machine, this machine. So like, the summary 30-second approach, if you will, or less. What would you start to do if you broke your ankle? Right here, right now.
I mean, I'll cry.
Okay.
First of all.
I love the honesty.
And then I think I'll just look for my phone and call 911 or a doctor that I know.
Okay.
And then just wait till I am rescued by someone.
Okay.
Take me.
I like it. I like it. All righty, Mr. Graham. What would you do if you were hungry and it was evening time in your house? So literally it's going to be like when we get off this call. What would you do?
If I was alone, I would, just look inside the refrigerator and, okay, this looks good, and heat it up. And I would, at least satisfy the physical hunger.
Okay, I like that. 2 proactive approaches. All righty. Hey, Corman, if I'm bleeding out right now and you're in the same physical place as me, what are you going to do?
Probably get something to stop the bleeding. If I have anything, call 911 and just remain by your side till help comes.
Good to go. All righty. So we got a commonality here. No one said, oh, I'll chant Hare Krishna. Which, by the way, kind of relieved about. Now, before anyone starts like there's like a mental like gymnastics. What do you mean? You're really bad. I wouldn't chant Hare Krishna. I'm really glad. Hey, you can add chanting Hare Krishna to it. But if I'm bleeding out and the core man's like, Hare Krishna, Hare, I'm like, dude, freaking slap a tourniquet on me if you got to get out of your belt, or like, call 911 for crying. Like, Krishna's great. Do all that. Then chant Hare Krishna, by the way, please do. But stop the bleeding, dude. And like, if I'm hungry and like Mr. Lindbergh invites me to his house to like have dinner, I'm like, okay, man, like I saved my appetite to be polite. I'm not going to be a guest who comes to me filled up. Like I've got an appetite. I'm like, where's dinner? He goes, any minute now. You really took the fanatic pill. Like, bro, how do I politely let you know that, Krishna loves you chanting Hare Krishna, but he gave you a brain and hands to make food for yourself? And, I'm really, really thankful that if Kirti breaks her ankle, she has the presence of mind to go, okay, 911, you go through tears, take a deep breath. Hey, I need someone to take me to the doctor because I can't walk to the car right now. But if we go, it's all going to be good. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Yeah, we're kind of missing. Now, on a separate note, this past week, a friend of mine, he gave me a call. He's like, yo, dude, I need to unpack something. Like, what's up? We're both very similar natures. We both like to be in situations of crisis, not because we enjoy people suffering, but because we tend to keep our heads cool when people are suffering, and we get to do things to help them not suffer anymore in dangerous situations. So he was about 5 minutes from the temple. Another fellow we knew was going on a motorcycle ride. It's like 10 days ago. My buddy Hari Kirtan told me he was about to take a turn. He sees a motorcycle come in, and this is a turn. It's like the wheel hit something wrong, and the guy hits into a tow truck right in front of him, catches his elbow on the back of the tow truck, gets smashed off. Hari Kirtan jumps out of the car, and he's like, holy smokes, I know this guy. It's a mutual friend who goes to temple here. Freaking veins and flesh. Like, it was bad. Like, the one arm looked like it was going to go. You could see bones in positions bones should not be in. So first thing Hari Kirtan did, he pulled out his belt, made a makeshift tourniquet, started telling people, neighbors from their houses, hey, you go around the corner, start waving traffic down. We don't want to pile up here. It's a blind corner. Let everybody who knows coming this direction to take it easy. There's a wreck. You call 911. All this, then, after all that was squared away, he looked at him, the guy, he goes, okay, you look at me. We're seeing their Singadev prayers right now. The guy is screaming profanities because he's in a lot of pain. They sing their Singadev prayers. We understand this when it's about cooking food. We understand this when it's about solving an injury. So many things we understand. If we got to get something done, Krishna gave us our hands, he gave us our brain, he gave us the intelligence to figure it out. We'll do it and we'll chant Hare Krishna. And yet it's a very common thing. It happens so often in theological practices. It happens very commonly in Krishna consciousness. As soon as we have any emotional injury or emotional baggage, if you will, oh, just chant Hare Krishna. Broken ankle, oh, I'm going to go to the doctor. Food to eat, oh, I'm going to go cook. Oh, baggage, emotional baggage, because I had some people really mistreating me when I was growing up, and I've got emotional triggers when I meet people that act a certain way or speak a certain way or look a certain way or of a certain gender, because I was treated growing up. I'll just chant Hare Krishna. Now, it's the best of intentions. It's not to be mocked. We're having this because it's a serious thing. No one goes into a relationship going, oh, I'm going to, screw myself over this way. I'm going to, block myself in this way. So we're not making light of it. We're bringing it to attention. We want to have a healthy relationship. We understand what codependency looks like so we can avoid it. That, a healthy relationship, starry-eyed relationship, doesn't mean that we have to stop thinking for ourselves and to the person, whatever you want. In the same way, having a healthy relationship with the Hare Krishna mantra, yes, Krishna's name is all powerful. And as someone who's all powerful, he's given us the ability to have the intelligence of how to make our own food, heal ourselves with the doctors, go get therapy. Now, growing up in Krishna consciousness for the past number of decades, I saw this was a repeated issue. And the reason I bring it up is because it usually looks like this. Someone's chanting Hare Krishna, and they enjoyed chanting Hare Krishna. And what they end up start doing, however, the relationship with the Hare Krishna mantra is one that is no longer healthy, defined as sustainable. Because then rather doing a thing of, hey, I may not be at the point of 16 rounds right now. Heck, I may not be at the point of 10 rounds right now. You may not be at the point where you want to go on a 10-hour date with your significant other. That's a long time. Or you might not want to go on a road trip with your significant other. There's an old saying, you want to know somebody, go on a road trip. When you run out of gas and you're sweaty and someone gets sick and they puke over the side of the road and all that happens, boy, howdy, do you know somebody? You may not be ready for that yet. but you're ready to spend, 15 minutes of sincere time with them. But if we're doing it like, okay, in these 15 minutes, we're going to know each other, and every single day you're like, I'm going to try it again, 15 minutes, we're still on the same page. We're going to burn ourselves out. And yet, unfortunately, what happens is it starts to become something that we do with the Hare Krishna mantra. We chant the Hare Krishna mantra because, again, the near enemies, the far enemies aren't a problem. But so often the things that we can't see, what does eating food, bleeding all over the place, and breaking your ankle have in common? You can see it. So we go, this is a physical thing that Krishna's giving me intelligence, how to handle myself. We don't see our emotional trauma. Last I checked, I couldn't tell you if my emotional trauma was zebra colored with a fuzzy texture. I couldn't tell you. No, it sucked. I definitely have my own emotional trauma. I'm not going to burden you guys to tell me what it is. From what I've met, most people who grew up in this world have some sort of emotional trauma, no matter how posh their life seems. It just happens with being in this world. But it's really easy because I can't see my emotional trauma to go, oh, I can't see it. It has to do something spiritual. So the fact that it's a negative thing and I can't see it, it must be a negative thing that could be solved with the spiritual answer. So spiritual, I'm a chant Hare Krishna, my negative trauma will go away. Jai, hey, it'll be beneficial. And yet Krishna says something really interesting. It's said in the Bhagavad Gita in the first or second account of the Bhagavatam. It's one of the sages. It's one of the sages. Sutta Sukadeva Goswami describing the process of devotional service. And they say, by this process of devotional service, they say, and I'm paraphrasing here, the heart of the honest devotee is purified. Now, what does this honest thing mean? It means we have to honestly look at ourselves and say what's going on. Now, the first thing a doctor is going to say, if you get him on the phone, is, where are you injured, sir? Where are you injured, ma'am? And if we tell them, they can help us. But if we go, well, I busted my ankle, but that really shouldn't be the problem. Really, I think, I'm having some chest breathing, and that's got to be it. Because if I tell you that I hurt my ankle, that'd be really embarrassing. Because then you realize that, I'm not being mature or responsible or careful when I go on my morning jogs. Doctor's like, look, I can't help if you're not going to be honest with me. So the same with the Hare Krishna mantra. This purifies us. We have to have honesty, because this process of chanting Hare Krishna means it purifies us. What happens in the shower, folks? If we go in the shower, say I'm really dirty and I hop in the shower, and I go into the shower thinking I'm going to get clean, and I've got dirt behind my ears. And the dirt starts pouring out, start seeing the dirt in my chest. I'm like, oh my God, cannot be coping with this right now. I've got dirt all over me. Everyone's going to see this. What do? I'm going to stay in the shower, but I'm going to cover my ears so the water doesn't hit my ears, so the dirt doesn't come out. I can't be honest and say there's dirt. We never get clean that way. To get purified means we have to go through the process of something. It doesn't vanish. We don't just go, Hare Krishna, 16 rounds, all my stuff is gone. Any of my bad qualities of being angry, maybe I've got no emotional trauma. I'm just a really grumpy person. Yeah, so even that takes some self-reflection. Now, chanting Hare Krishna is very wonderful. Why is it wonderful? It's because it's a relationship with Krishna. This whole thing of a healthy relationship, what makes it healthy is that, well, let's look at a diet. When is a diet sustainable? Diet is sustainable when you start thinking about, okay, this is a diet that I can do, like the diet itself, I could do this day in, day out. I'm not torture myself to get to this end goal. People do, I'm going to do this to get to the end goal right now. It's a healthy diet, but it's not a healthy relationship because it can't maintain it. And oftentimes, it's so simple, but so profound. The simple thing that commonly gets in the way of a healthy, enjoyable, sustainable relationship with the Hare Krishna mantra is a mood that, to some effect or other, I'm going to chant japa this much every day in this quantity at this time, and then one day I'm going to have this breakthrough. And either all my negative qualities are going to go away, or, I'm going to wake up and I'm instantly going to understand all the answers to everything. Hey, that is said in Shastra that if we chant Hare Krishna, one day we'll understand our relationship with Krishna and all come together. Yes, ma'am. But the point is, if we go into anything with the end goal in mind and not the relationship, not the current in the moment thing, we get burnt out. And the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, and he's telling Arjuna, he says, fight for the sake of fighting. Don't fight for the sake of, okay, victory or concern about defeat. That's what Arjuna's concerned about at the beginning. It's like, man, if I lose this battle, it's going to suck because, obviously, I might, get some rewards, but some people are going to die. And if I win this battle, people are still going to die. And the people are all close to me. This is going to suck no matter what. Because you're like, look, don't look at the end result. Look at the process. Fight for the sake of fighting. Not that when I have a diet just for the end result. I'm being this perfect weight, or I'm finally going to, that's good. Don't ignore that. Don't hate yourself for having that desire. Have those desires. The relationship with the diet, with that health diet, needs to be one that every day I'm enjoying being healthy right here and now, regardless of the end result. And the relationship with the Hare Krishna mantra is one that, as opposed to, okay, I can buckle down and do 16 rounds today. Yes, I grew up in this culture of Krishna consciousness, and both in the philosophy and culture. What's the difference? Culture, the best definition I heard was what people do. You might have a different culture of Krishna consciousness in some states and some countries. Yeah, I grew up in a second generation Western environment, Hare Krishna mantra being chanted, and the approach was often, when you chant your 16 rounds the first time, man, you got bragging rights. You've done it. You've hit your black belt. So, okay, yeah, what do you do? The real thing of the black belt isn't just did I binge and purge my techniques, it's have I done it for so long that it comes naturally to me that I enjoy it. And a lot of times I've seen, and we've seen at large in society, people chant Hare Krishna mantra. They do it. And yet the relation of the Hare Krishna mantra is very what we can see externally. We'll say that. I won't say what's happening internally. It's nothing to be inspired by. It's something that's in a very serious way. It's okay, I'm knocking out my rounds now. I'm not mocking them. I'm not criticizing them. Heck, there are times when I'm dead time. I got to get my rounds out. I mean, to give a parallel, there's times when my wife and I are dead tired. Like, okay, we got to get some time together spent. Some we're just dead tired. That's the way we speak. And yet we also understand that if we have a constant relationship, it's okay. Did you put in your 1 hour of hang out time with me today? That's gonna not be a very long-term happy relationship. Like, this is kind of mechanical, and you're just doing it to get my good graces. Like, look, I'd much rather you just spend 15 minutes telling about your day, and we can color something, listen to an audiobook, or go for a walk and play some frisbee in the backyard. Have it not for the sake of the end result, but for the, hey, right now, this is a very beautiful relationship. And when it comes to the Hare Krishna mantra, it's so easy, just like you want to get to your neighbor's house. You're like, oh, it's so simple. Let's go to my neighbor's house. Look out. What do you look for? Look out for those copperheads. Yes, ma'am. Actually, I might be ready to go in about 2 minutes. Just wrapping up here. Look out for those copperheads. So the same with the Hare Krishna mantra, what is the key most simple thing that can really make it a unsustainable, unhealthy relationship? It's the approach that I'm going to chant the Hare Krishna mantra and all these problems are going to go away. My emotional baggage is, or that is a common one. Versus having the honesty to go, okay, I need to work on these things myself. Be nice to myself. Don't beat myself up. They haven't disappeared yet. And then also chant the Hare Krishna mantra going, wow, this is my time with Krishna. It might be 2 rounds, but it's 2 rounds every day. And just like we see in our relationships in this world, we can have the buddies that, we talk to once a month, binge and purge like 45 minutes, an hour and a half. It's like, hey man, finally calling you, an hour and a half on the phone. It's like, it's not a very fulfilling relationship. But the friends that we see at the mailbox or talk to for 5-10 minutes every day, those are very wholesome relationships. So the little secret to success of simplicity with a healthy relationship with the Hare Krishna mantra is that rather than an approach of I'm going to solve all my problems with the Hare Krishna mantra, I'm going to spend some time with Krishna. I'm going to be honest to see how I can solve my own problems. Just like I solved my own problem of hunger. Krishna gave the intelligence. I'd solve my own problem of getting a broken ankle. Go to the doctor. I've got a problem I can't see, like emotional issues, this or that. Yeah, chant Hare Krishna, but spiritual bypassing of I'm going to solve all these problems by religious activities. We start to lose sight of it. And then we strain ourselves. And we lose the healthy long-term system relationship with Hare Krishna. So that's what the snakes look like in the forest. Of you're going on a trip with Krishna, the Hare Krishna mantra, spiritual bypassing, and think I can get rid of all my problems in this material world just by doing this one thing. Yes, in the sense that you can, be free from all misery, but we still have our own responsibilities to things on our own, as far as healing ourselves, going to seek therapy, what have you. And also, don't spend time with Krishna because you're like, okay, I got to get bragging rights, I got to force myself to do my 16 rounds. Like, hey, spend time with Krishna because it's a blast. And if it's not a blast, maybe we're spending 16 rounds of time. We're not at that point yet. We might want more blast for a round or two. And that's a healthy, ongoing relationship. That is all I have for now. Manya, you've been very gracious to me. I think today is the first day that I am going to be able to say I was meaning to show respect for everyone's time. In the past, I kept going, I didn't mean to be disrespectful to people's time by going 10 minutes over. But I certainly wasn't trying because I was getting on the pattern of it. So I'm going to have a little bit of, not pride, of a, yes, I did it. I hope that you all feel respected by your time. And going forward, maybe I'll be able to keep on continuing doing this. Or I'll be able to keep on having in the time, within the time range, while also having it even more, like if today was disorganized, more organized, and I'll get better. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Shri Arjuna. And we love to hear from you. So if we didn't have a time constraint, we would love for you to go. I think Niharika has her hand up, so I'll let her maybe
We got 4
speak.
minutes left.
Yeah, we can have a chat.
Arjuna Prabhu, I have a question for you.
Shoot, I may or may not have an answer. If I don't have an answer, I'll be honest and tell you though.
So, since we were speaking about chanting, this is something that I have spoken with a few spiritual mentors with about of how to continue to have that emotion or that progressive relationship with the mantra. And a lot of them, they say that if you come to think of it, no 2 days are going to be the same, and you are probably never going to be that invested in every single time that you chant. So whether it's like even one round or it's like 16 rounds, it's never going to be like you're completely present, but just do it anyway. Like most of the people that I have met or asked this question, like how do you develop more and more interest and more inclination towards spending that time with Krishna, specifically through chanting. Most of them say that just do it anyway, just do it anyway. And I'm finding that hard to like consolidate what they say with what you say, because what you're saying makes complete sense and makes perfect sense to me, which is that just doing it for the heck of it is probably not the best way. So ideally what you want to do is slowly and gradually increase like your appetite for it. But a lot of people say that it's probably never going to happen, so do it anyway.
I'm understanding your question correctly.
So my
You're saying that on one
question
hand,
is,
you're hearing from people to do it no matter what, get it out of the
yeah,
way. And it sounds like I'm saying the exact opposite, and you're trying to reconcile this. Yes, ma'am?
that is correct. Yes.
Okay. Say it in less than 3 minutes. Everything they're saying about the goal is correct. The goal is to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Because if we don't chant the Hare Krishna mantra, we forget Krishna. This world is a freaking scary place, forgetting Krishna. This does not mean to take it lax. Oh, I'll just not chant today because I don't really feel like it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is to take it from a feeling, from a love emotional based approach. Have a consistency. I have known many people who say they chant 16 rounds, who've taken the obligation to chant 16 rounds. Privately, they don't chant 16 rounds. It's not because they don't have faith in it. It's because they're overwhelmed. They haven't figured out that they have the schedule for it. It's far more attractive to everyone involved and more wholesome for them, just to be honest and go, hey, sometimes I chant 16 rounds. My minimum is 4 rounds. I know I can chant 4 rounds and enjoy that with Krishna every day. Sometimes I feel burnt out from 16 rounds. I'm not at that point yet. When I date my wife, I'm not going to force it. I'm going to do 2 hours with you. I want that relationship where 2 hours a day seems natural. But we're going to spend at least 15 minutes every day with each other. The point is, don't toast yourself. Shoot for the goal, but have some time with Krishna. And that's the short answer to your question, ma'am.
Okay. That makes sense. That helps. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Manya, I think it would be a good time now to wrap it up, because if we go even for an extra minute and a half, then we'll go over. And I really want to end in the positive night. I did it. So for my best interest of selfishness and pride, I'd like to say thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Shri Arjuna. This was wonderful. It's easy to chant without knowing why we're chanting or practicing mantra meditation. So thank you for reminding us what it feels to have inspirational practice in our daily life and how that can make a difference. And just taking us almost on a journey, going from what does healthy mean to us, and then how to do that. And I just want to say, for those of you who want to kind of practically experience this and try it, there's two types of mantra meditation. One is called kirtan, which is more like a musical festival. We dance and we chant in a more musical way. And that is coming up at Bhakti Studio this Saturday. We have a famous kirtan singer called Madhava Das, and he'll be joining us for a Bhakti immersion, a retreat, almost like a 2-day program. And then on Saturday, we have a Kirtan Soul Fest. So if you want to try the musical aspect of chanting, that is also coming up at Bhakti Studio. And in terms of the chanting that Sri Arjuna was talking about, we usually do it on beads. And there are about 108 beads. And if you do that, that's called one round. And if any of you don't have beads yet, please contact me or Ian here, and we'll ship them to you so you can start your chanting practice. And I just sent the link to the Bhakti immersion. If any of you all are interested in the Seattle area, maybe we'll fly you, Sri Arjuna, if you want to come in. But yeah, Madhva Das is joining us. So that'll be wonderful. Or otherwise, we'll see you all next week for Wisdom Wednesdays. We have another wonderful speaker joining. And with that, thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Thank you, Shri Arjuna, for your time. This is a really lovely evening.
Sounds good. Thank you for the invitation. Hare Krishna.
All right, bye. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.